Greetings, everybody. I hope that you guys are good. Let's quickly have a look at Nasdaq 100. And before we get into the actual chart, I just wanted to mention that the last trading week was very difficult. We saw a lot of choppiness within the markets, and this was, in my humble opinion, caused by the current banking issues that we have in both America and Europe. And I'm just hoping that the next week will be a much better trading week. And yeah, without wasting any further time, guys, let's get straight into the actual analysis. And we're on the weekly chart, guys, as you can see, and we can see that at this point in time the market is at a very strong level of resistance, and that is because we've had multiple rejections at this level. As you guys can see, we've had a rejection at this point, another one at this point, another one at that point, and so forth, all the way to this point. So what this is telling us, guys, is that we might be getting ready to see a reversal of sorts, and that is if price indeed rejects this level over here, more or less, right? And just to recap, remember, guys, the last time we spoke about this particular index, we spoke about how we have multiple W structures at the bottom. Number one, we spoke about how we have this W structure over here, which has a neckline at that point, and we saw price, guys, coming back to the neckline to test it. And I said to you guys that at this point is where we would look for those potential buying opportunities, and that's exactly what happened, right? And we also had this large inverted head and shoulders pattern, and I said that it also has a neckline more or less at that point, and that should price close above this area, we're gonna wait for it to come back to the neckline to test it. And at this point is where we would look for those potential buying opportunities, and our first take profit should be this level over here if we do indeed find an opportunity at that point. And why do I say this level? That is because, guys, if you actually look at this level over here, it's a very strong level of resistance. And also we have this candlestick over here, which is a bullish candlestick with a small body and quite a long upper wick, and by now you guys know that that represents liquidity. So there's a lot of money stuck at the top, at this level, and there is plenty of scope for the market to head to that level to grab that liquidity, right? Anyway, let's proceed. What else do we see in regards to the weekly chart of Nasdaq 100? At this point, I don't see much, guys. So what I'm gonna do now actually is just add my necklines so that we don't forget about them as we head down to the smaller time frames. I'm just gonna add this one over here, right, which is the neckline of that W structure, right, that I spoke about over here, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see? At this point, I don't see much, guys, but just remember that currently the market is at a very strong level of resistance, and we might potentially see a reversal of sorts, right? Anyway, from here, what I'm going to do is head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. And remember, guys, on the weekly chart we spoke about how we have this huge W structure which has a neckline at that point. As much as we have that, can you guys also see that we have another smaller W structure at this point which also has a neckline at that point? So I'm just going to add a neckline to that W structure. Right. There we go, right? So what does this mean, guys? This means that we might potentially see the market actually head down from where it is to around this level to test that W structure, right? To test that W structure. And as I said, at this point in time, the market is at a very strong level of resistance, and at this point, a lot of people have already started selling, and their first take profit is this level over here, which is the neckline of this W structure, and the second take profit is this level over here, which is the neckline of that bigger W structure that we spoke about on the weekly chart, right? And let's proceed, guys. In fact, before we proceed, I just want to add my daily channel, so just bear with me, guys, while I do so. So how would I add my daily channel in this regard? Let's have a look. Just bear with me, guys. And as I usually say, guys, just ensure that all of the drawings that you add to your charts are as accurate as can be, right? Just ensure that at the end of the day, when we do ultimately execute, our execution is also very much accurate. Anyway, here we are on the daily chart, right? And just to proceed, guys, remember, as much as we have this W structure over here, and which has a neckline at that point, and the anticipation at this point is for the market to push further down to around this level. Just also bear in mind that we have another opposing structure, and that opposing structure is actually this M structure over here. Can you guys see that? We have an M structure over here. This would be the first leg of that M structure, and this would be the second leg. And currently price is at a very strong level of resistance, and what this means is that as much as the anticipation is for the market to push further down to around this level to test the neckline of this W structure over here, what may possibly actually happen is we might see price from where it is actually push all the way down to the bottom side, right? And that's because this M structure started more or less at this point, and I believe that it should end more or less at this point to complete this very nice M structure. So just keep that in the back of your mind, right? So as much as the anticipation is for price to head back to this level to test it, right, we might actually see the market push further down, and in that case it would confirm this very nice M structure that we have, right? And another reason why I say that we might potentially see price actually move all the way down is because, remember guys, I had also spoken about how we have this huge W structure, and I said to you guys that usually when it comes to W structures, a lot of traders and investors buy on that second leg of that structure, and they place their stop losses below. So there's a lot of money in this level, or rather at this level over here, right? There's a lot of liquidity at this level, and it needs to be grabbed by the market at one point or another, right? So the market may come down all the way to this level over here to grab those stop losses and then possibly push further up, right? Anyway, from here what I'm gonna do, guys, is head down to the H4 chart. I just also want to stress out, guys, that at this point a lot of people have sold. Another reason why I say they've sold is because we have, if you look here, we have a pin bar, right? We have a pin bar, which is that red candlestick with a relatively small body and a long upper wick, right? And in as far as a lot of traders and investors go, that's confirmation in their books to actually sell, right? Anyway, let's head down to the H4 chart and have a look in terms of what's going on. Just bear with me, guys. So there goes our daily chart. I just wanted to fix that. Right, there we go. Right, just to recap, guys, remember on the daily chart we spoke about how we have this W structure which has a neckline at that point, and I said that we want to see price coming back to this neckline, and at this neckline is where we might potentially look for those buying opportunities. Having said that, I also spoke about how we have this huge M structure and how this is the second leg of that M structure, and that a lot of people have actually sold at this point as the anticipation is for price rather to move further down. Now that we are on the H4 chart, let's just zoom in a bit and see what's happening. The first thing that I can see in regards to the H4 chart is that we have this movement over here, right? So there's a sideways movement. The market has been very, very choppy, and as I've said, guys, this is as a result of the banking crisis that's currently happening in the US as well as now in Europe, right? So it's going to be tricky in the next week as well in regards to making trades, either buying or selling. It's going to be very, very tricky. And on the H4 chart so far, I don't see any actual buying or selling opportunities. I don't see any actual buying or selling opportunities. Nonetheless, let's continue. Now I'm gonna add my H4 channel as well. So there goes my H4 channel. Just bear with me, guys. Let's have a look. Just bear with me, guys. Bear with me. There we go. 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 Right. Remember, guys, I said price currently is at a very strong level of resistance, and we can also see that as much as we have that huge M structure that I spoke about, right? As much as we have that structure, if I can just zoom in, We also have another M structure over here, which has a neckline at that point, right? And remember, guys, that I usually say to you that whenever we have these M structures, a lot of traders and investors sell on the second leg of that M and play their stop losses just above, right? So there's a lot of money stuck here in the form of stop losses, and what we may possibly see in the next week is that the market may actually head up to trigger all of those stop losses, only to push further down, and in that case it would give us a very nice triple top. I hope you guys can see that. It would give us a very nice triple top. Can you guys see that? Right. Anyway, as much as we have the formation, guys, another very interesting thing is happening. We also have this W structure over here, which also has a neckline at that point, right? And you know by now, guys, that when we have these W structures, we want to see price breaking to the upside of that neckline, coming back to the neckline to test it, and if it does so, at this point is where we normally look for those potential buying opportunities. So if price closes above this level, comes back to this level, we might potentially see the market pushing further down. So as I've said, guys, things are very, very choppy at this point in time. I don't see any um, actual buying or selling opportunities because the markets are just all over the show, and that's because of what's happening globally in the banking sector. So as a result, at this point in time, I don't see any actual buying or selling opportunities, and the best thing, in my humble opinion, is to wait and see what price does next, right? Another thing, guys, that I see just in closing is that we have this triangle over here, which tells us that a breakout is imminent. A breakout is imminent. We're either going to see a breakout to the upside or the bottom side, but nonetheless the market could go in either direction, right? So that is it, guys, and as far as my analysis goes. In conclusion, I would say rather wait it out and see what happens next, but so far, in as far as buying or selling, I don't see any opportunities, right? So remember to subscribe to the content if you do indeed like it, and if you have any further questions, just let me know in the comment section, and peace out.